Welcome back to Brothers Blockbusters, a sibling-hosted Average Joe podcast where each week we discuss the biggest movie and TV news and review the latest releases so you don't have to. I'm your co-host, Elliot.
And I'm your co-host, Eric.
And today we're covering Disney Plus show updates, new film announcements, and reviewing the early 2026 film 28 Years Later, The Bone Temple. Ready to get started?
Yeah.
All right, so this week in Hollywood, we don't have really like two main stories I want to talk about and then some quick hits. So I think we'll just go through probably a list of like 5 to 7 different updates or stories from this week.
Yeah.
Does that work?
Yeah, because there's not a lot. Obviously, we covered last week, covered a lot of the new movie releases. So, there's bits and pieces of information that's kind of leaked out this week about some new TV shows, a couple movies that are getting that are greenlit, a couple series that are going to get a new season. So little things like that are not in the big picture things are not massive stories, but things that we think are noteworthy that people would want to watch, people would want to listen to and check out.
Yeah. I mean, that's the whole point of this podcast, right? To like let people know what's going on in the movie and TV industry and, not have to, make people scroll over Twitter to figure out what's going on.
So there's a couple of Disney Plus shows. I think I sent these to you a couple days ago.
Yep.
Marvel's talked about how Vision Quest is going to debut in October on Disney Plus.
Mid-October. So this is basically like a spin-off sequel to WandaVision.
Okay.
I think. Yeah. Yeah, because in that show, I mean, at the end of WandaVision, there's like a new Vision, White Vision.
Yeah, White Vision. Is this White Vision?
I think this is like his quest to like find who he really is. I mean, it's probably more
he's
philosophical
just
than it is, but yeah, well, we'll see about that. But I think this is one of those shows that Disney, or I guess Marvel, kind of greenlit back when they were just greenlighting everything. And I thought this was not going to work out well for the Agatha show that came out last year, but I ended up loving it. And
that
ended
was
up getting really
show.
good reviews too. Yeah. So I'm glad they, greenlit that. But this one I'm not, fully sure on. It's been in the works for quite some time. So they're finally getting around to releasing it in October. So hopefully it's good, but who knows?
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. There's not really many details out about what it's going to be, which is kind of nice in a sense.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you just don't, you don't want to know. You want to be able to watch each episode. And when the new show comes out, you don't want to be like, oh, I already know how this is going to go. I know it's going to happen. But like you said, Agatha, like I had no idea what that show was going to be, what it turned into. So it was fun checking in every week, with the new episode. Like, this is going on. Okay, crazy.
Right.
But like this, it's like you don't know anything.
Don't know anything. I have no idea how it fits into where the current MCU is with. I mean, Doomsday comes out in December, so this is October. Who knows if there's going to be any, I won't say a prequel to like Doomsday, but is there going to be any storylines in the show that kind of.
You also have Spider-Man in July too, so it's like, where's this going to fit in?
Right.
Because the MCU right now, it's very convoluted.
And I think they're starting to get back to like spreading things out. I mean, I think last year there was only one movie. The year before that, or last year there were a couple movies. The year before that, I think Deadpool and Wolverine was the only movie out. So they're slowing things down, and I think getting back to basics.
They're trying to get the quote-unquote timeline back to where people can actually understand it.
Yeah.
Because with all those TV shows and movies, it's like in all the post-credit scenes, you're like, I have no idea. I think I follow an account where a guy posts all the post-credit scenes from every Marvel movie or TV show, and he talks about which ones paid off in the end and which ones still haven't.
Oh my gosh,
of like 10 or 12 that still haven't.
I mean, they've doubled the intake of movies in the last, or I guess output of movies from like, I don't know, the last 5 or 6 years, ever since Endgame, where there was I think 20 to 25 movies that had come out leading to that event. Starting with Iron Man all the way through Endgame. That same amount of movies and TV shows came out between Endgame and basically like the last couple of years. Yeah. So they basically sandwiched 15 years of outputs into 4 or 5.
It's great. I mean, like, don't get me wrong, I love the content because I love Marvel stuff, so like I'll watch it, but it was a lot. There's a lot to follow, and when you get in that timeline specifically where they're getting into the multiverse, it's like it's so hard to follow.
I know. There's been so many cross storylines and so much. It's gotten so convoluted. Do you remember like Eternals, the movie, the post-credit scene, Harry Styles?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like he was one of those, like he's probably never going to play, I think it's Arrows.
What about Marshall Ali's Blade? That was also in there.
Yeah, that one's going to be tough.
Kit Harington.
Because that keeps getting, kicked down the road. And I know. Those are the ones I really, really hope work out, but they probably won't.
No.
But
anyway.
Yeah. So Vision Quest coming out somewhere in October. Have no idea if it's all at once or, weekly episodes.
Give me weekly.
I would love weekly.
I don't like the whole let's drop the show all at once. Like I know people, it's good to get a show done. You want to watch it. You're anticipating a show, but I love the feel of weekly releases.
Yeah,
it's fun. It keeps you intrigued. It's like, all right, you watch the episode Friday, like Severance does this.
Yep.
You watch the episode and then you talk about it all week, and then you're like on the edge of your seat waiting for the next episode.
I mean, I'm going on Reddit forums looking at like what are people talking about, what did people notice, going on YouTube to see like Easter egg breakdowns of like what I missed. So yeah, and another I guess episodic or weekly show is Ahsoka.
Yeah, that's coming out.
Yeah, so it looks like it's early 2027 on Disney Plus. I liked the first season. I thought it was pretty good.
I did not watch it.
You did not watch it yet?
No.
Okay.
Like I said, I've been saying this for the last 2 podcasts. I have a list of a bunch of shows that I need to go back through and rewatch. Like obviously Daredevil season 2's out. Punisher just came out. I got to finish season 2 of Fallout. Got to finish Andor. So there's a lot of Skeleton Crew I never watched. Did you watch Skeleton Crew?
With Jude Law, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I watched that.
Okay, so there's another one.
I
It's
enjoyed
like
that
all
one.
these shows that it's like you always say, "Oh, I'm gonna have time to do this," and then whether it's football, playoff hockey, I got wrestling to watch, things like that. Things pop up. Summers, you're busy. It's one of those things where I just got to prioritize it.
Yeah.
Instead of throwing on a comedy show at night, it's like an easy show to watch. I should probably throw on one of these shows and just start getting them out because they're enjoyable and I love the shows that I've seen before. But
well, I do recommend Ahsoka, especially you being a Star Wars guy too. You like to see all this stuff and watch all of it.
Sure.
Season 1 I thought was pretty good. Wasn't the greatest TV ever, but it was pretty good. So those are 2 Disney Plus shows with some updates this week. Next on the list, Conan O'Brien is returning to host the Oscars next year. 99th Oscars.
Is that a record for consecutive hosts?
I feel like I should know that because again, we've said this like every week we've recorded. We do a movie podcast and there's some stuff we don't know.
Sure.
But again, what do I say in the intro? We're average Joes, right?
We're average Joes.
So we don't know everything.
He's done a really good job and people love it. So clearly, getting the 3rd year in a row for the Oscars, that's a pretty big. Yeah. It's pretty cool.
That's a pretty cool gig. Yeah, to get it 3 years in a row. Plus, it's the 99th, so maybe in 2028 for the 100th he comes back as well. But
just keep him on there. Keep it going.
Yeah. I mean, why not? I mean, I get like having a rotating person, but
no, if something fits,
if something fits and it really works, and continue to use that one person.
Yeah, so I don't have a problem with that. I think it's cool.
So yeah, that was announced this week. Also announced this week was Harry Potter season 2. So
yeah, that's been season 2. Has been greenlit at HBO. I think it's going to start filming in the fall. It's going to basically mirror the Chamber of Secrets.
Right.
And that's what I kind of like. I'll wait to see how the first season comes out. That comes out, I think, Christmas, right around there. Like we talked about, it's really hard to do book adaptations into films.
Right.
You're going to cut stuff out. You're going to leave maybe some important things that, people who have read the book, like kind of like I did with Project Hail Mary, there are a couple things in there that I thought, I thought it was key.
Yeah.
Obviously the directors didn't. But with this, you're really able to take a slow burn with it and really explore the book in more detail, maybe make it a little bit more, not realistic in a sense, but have a more focus into the finer details of the book where you may not do that with the movie. So obviously with season 1 coming out, we'll see how that goes. I do have, I don't want to say I have high expectations, but anything Harry Potter related, I think it's good to have it back on the screen. I think the movies were fantastic. And I think most of the movies did a good job at adapting the book because we used to read the books all the time and then we'd go see the movie. So this should be exciting. I mean, the Chamber of Secrets it's a pretty good book.
Yeah.
Don't know where it ranks. That's another segment for another time. Maybe when this comes out, we can go through
do like a rankings of
like
our top
Harry Potter
movies or even books.
Sure, like our top 3, or even go through the 7 or 8 of the movies and books and kind of rank them. But no, I'm excited. I think it's gonna be good, and it's gonna be one of those shows that you're just gonna want to put on and be like, you want to scratch that Harry Potter itch, and if you don't want to watch the movies, or if you're like, I just watch the movies, throw on the show.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I mean, I understand why they're doing this. I mean, they invested. I mean, Warner Brothers has invested so much into like Universal Studios and like the Harry Potter world.
Oh yeah,
all that. I mean, and that IP. I mean, it's still so popular.
Yeah, and with these shows now, you're probably gonna be able to get more stuff into those worlds at Universal.
Oh yeah, you'll be able to add these characters in as well. I mean, the last Harry Potter movie came out, I think it was 2011.
I think it was 2011.
Part 2, Deathly Hallows Part 2.
15 years ago, almost 15 years ago.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah, and it seems like it was just yesterday.
Yeah.
So yeah, like you said, I'm excited for season 1, and I believe it'll be they're calling it the Philosopher's Stone.
They're calling it the Philosopher's Stone. I know I
think that's like a UK version.
UK version versus the American
Philosopher's Stone. Yeah,
they both sound cool.
Oh yeah, they both sound cool. I will definitely reread the book before this.
Yeah, I've always wanted to do that. Reread the book and then maybe put on the movie, and then right before the show starts, obviously get those 2 done, and then watch the show and kind of see. And do we know if they're going to do weekly episodes? Or are they going to do like a whole drop at once? HBO seems like they don't do the drops.
No,
seems like they do a weekly.
Now this is HBO Max. I don't know if it's going to be simultaneously like HBO Sunday night 9 p.m. kind of show, or it's just HBO Max. I think it might just be HBO Max. But this will cover the entire Philosopher's Stone book. So I mean, that book is really, that's the shortest book I think out of all of them. So it'd be easy to go through.
Yeah. So I know most of you Harry Potter fans are probably already going to read the book before seeing the show. Yeah. So if not, read the book, watch the movie. wait for the show, and hopefully it holds up.
Yeah, I have a good feeling it will, but again, we won't know until we see it.
Correct.
So next, we literally just watched this before recording. Evil Dead Burn trailer just came out.
Same universe as Evil Dead Rise. Same universe.
I don't know. I want to say it's a standalone story because Evil Dead Rise we saw that was a couple years ago at this point.
It's a great movie.
It was so good.
No, I think it was. I remember doing the ranking for it, and I had it in my top 10. I want to say it was 2023.
Yeah,
maybe 3. I think it was 2023.
Okay.
So it was going to be about what 3 years ago.
Yeah, and that one took place wasn't it like an apartment complex essentially.
Yes.
Like one of those like run down apartment complexes that's probably like 20 stories, and yeah, it's like a small spaces. Makes your skin crawl kind of thing. This one is similar-ish where it's like probably in like one setting.
Looks like it, yeah.
Yeah, so basically this woman, her husband dies. She seeks solace with her in-laws in their secluded family home, which I'm assuming is like in the woods, in the middle of nowhere. And then one by one, each of the family members are transformed into deadites, which is like the official like zombie monster demons of the Evil Dead universe. So it's probably her against everybody else and fighting for survival. So
looks good. If you like horror films, I know some of our friends.
If you like blood and gore, I mean, this trailer had it hard.
Yeah, I just put it on my iPad right before we started this, and I just was looking over like every couple seconds to look at Elliot, and Elliot just laughing. Like this is it's insane.
I'll be seeing this in the theater. Might be hiding behind my box of popcorn, but the adrenaline.
That's why you wear a sweatshirt. You can pull down a little bit.
That's true. You could do that. So next, I know you kind of mentioned not seeing Fallout or both seasons of Fallout a few minutes ago.
Yeah.
Well, Aaron Paul, who we all know from Breaking Bad,
great.
He was in Westworld, but he's been cast in Fallout season 3, and no other details other than he's going to be in it.
Okay.
But I'm really excited because I feel like he would fit well in this universe.
So you watched season 2? That's another on my list. I got to start. Yep. Did you like it better than season 1? How was it compared? Was it fun? I know they did. Was this more of like the Fallout New Vegas?
It centered a lot around Vegas, or like getting to Vegas.
Okay.
But like the first season, they did a lot of flashbacks to like before the war, before the bombs dropped, and there was more and more added context into the situation, what happened. So yeah, I probably liked it better than season 1.
Okay. So that's high bar, because season 1 was
Justin Theroux is in this season.
Interesting.
Or season 2, I guess.
Okay.
And I really enjoyed it.
No.
But yeah, Aaron Paul's going to be in this. And like I mentioned, he was in Westworld for a couple seasons. And, speaking of Westworld, there's a movie reboot officially in the works.
I saw that.
Yeah. So David Koepp is writing the film, or writing the script. He basically works on almost everything Spielberg does.
Mm-hmm.
So he wrote like Jurassic Park, War of the Worlds, Disclosure Day, which is coming out next month in June. Have you seen the show, Westworld?
I think I watched the first couple episodes.
Okay.
I got into it, but again, like me, I sometimes get distracted with other things, whether it's sports or other TV shows that I'm interested in.
I don't blame you for not watching. The first season of Westworld is like perfect television.
Yeah. This is HBO, right?
HBO. Might be one of the best seasons of television, period. But it fell off the rails really fast.
Really? That bad?
Really fast. Season 2 was fine.
Jeffrey Wright's in this, isn't he?
Yes.
Okay, I love
Season 3, it fell off, and then I want to say there was season 4, and then they just canceled it. So the story wasn't complete.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah. Is because it just got worse and worse and worse, and we could, dig into that different time, but yeah, it did not end well. But this is, there was originally a Westworld movie, then the show, and now they're doing a movie reboot, so I'm excited. I like the idea of it.
Sure.
But, we'll see where it goes.
There was one other thing I wanted to touch on. I think I sent this to you. I think it was today. Matt Reeves tweeted a clip. I think it was a GIF of Batman, Robert Pattinson. I don't know if I think it's from the first movie, but he just tweeted, "We meet again, my friend, ... with the bat emoji." So obviously that movie looks like it's Robert Pattinson's done with all of his movie tours have they started filming that yet? The Batman?
No, I think I read last week that he was doing like camera testing.
Sure.
Which maybe it's just exactly what it is, like just testing all the new cameras they're using for this movie. But again, we haven't seen, when the first one came out
2022,
4 years ago, and it'll be almost 5 when the sequel comes out. So like anything we can find, any detail, any news on this movie. I hate that we have to
wait so long for this.
I know.
Because that movie, like if you guys don't know, like Batman's my favorite superhero. And I love, the I went back and rewatched all the Michael Keatons. Obviously, we didn't grow up with those; we were too young. So we grew up with the Christian Bale ones, and those movies are Dark Knight's probably one of, if not the best superhero movie,
Right.
comic
Like the
movie
better
of all time.
movies in general.
Correct. Again, Christopher Nolan does not miss. But I had high hopes for this, and I was a little skeptical, I guess, at the start of, is Robert Pattinson going to be a good Batman?
Yeah.
And I could host a whole episode. We could host a whole episode of this about me talking about my love for the Batman movie. I think I've seen that. That's like my movie I put on if like I want to watch something, but I don't really want to watch something. I'll throw the Batman on. I think I've seen that movie in full close to like 12 times.
Yeah, I feel like every time I ask you, like, what'd you do last night? You're like, we watched the Batman again. It's like it's almost always, and I think I've only seen it once, maybe twice. I really liked it. I mean, it's a 3-hour movie. I really loved it, but
it felt like it flew by for me.
Yeah,
it's just like I can't wait for this movie to come out. I will see that opening night. Mm-hmm. I will go. I'm not going to dress as Batman.
You're not going to be
Although
the guy.
I would love like Ben White and Parks and Rec where you got the full Batman suit.
Yeah,
I would love that one day. I want a Batman suit. But I'm excited for this movie. Any like Elliot said, any info or morsels we can get out of this from Matt Reeves or any, we'll talk about it. I'm excited. I think it's going to be. They said the script is. I mean, Colin Farrell's even talked about. He plays the Penguin. Robert Pattinson's talked about it,
right?
He's back in it. Yeah.
And do we know if it takes place after?
It takes place.
The Penguin show.
Yes. So the Penguin released last year, and that took place, I think, a couple weeks, maybe a month after the events of the Batman ended.
Right.
And I think this takes place. I think it starts right after the Penguin ended.
Okay.
I think they showed a couple clips of like snow.
That's right, because there hasn't really been a Batman movie that takes place in the winter, like true winter. Like in The Dark Knight Rises, there were like that winter scene, but I don't know if Batman was present during that time.
So it just coming with, we don't know a whole lot, right? No. We don't know who the villain is.
Yeah.
So we don't really know, but goodness, I'm excited.
Yeah, me too. I just, again, like you said, any kind of updates on this that we can get, we're starving for. So
starving
for. So ready to get into the main review?
Yes, main review.
All right.
What did we see?
So this last week, we watched 28 Years Later, The Bone Temple. This was released back in January over MLK weekend. Made about $59 million at the box office on a $63 million budget. 28 Years Later, which came out last year, made $151 million.
Did they film this concurrently or pretty close to it?
I bet they did.
Yeah.
Considering they came out less than a year apart, which is really rare.
Sure.
I guarantee they filmed together. So it is kind of weird. Before I get into kind of like the cast and director and synopsis of it, this made only $59 million versus the 28 Years Later making $150 million.
That's shocking.
So I tried to do a little research on like why this is. I think a couple of reasons I was able to find is that one, it's a January release. So January is typically a month where not good movies are released.
Sure.
Because award season's around the corner. No one's trying to submit anything or show off their movies in the month of January.
That's the best time to show off movies, though, because there's nothing going on.
Well, there's nothing going on, but it's right after the holiday season.
Yeah.
So people are less inclined to spend money and go out and go see movies. So I understand, like, people weren't really wanting to go out and watch this movie. There's pretty bad marketing with it, too. I had no idea it was coming out. And from indications of what I've read is that a lot of people thought it was just re-release of 28 Years Later.
Oh, geez.
Because you saw, 28 Years Later, The Bone Temple. It's like 28 Years Later came out last year. Is this just like the same movie but with like deleted scenes or something added onto it, Mm-hmm. So that's part of it as well. And then again, it's MLK weekend. It's a holiday weekend. Not many people go and see movies during like big holiday weekends.
That's crazy.
Yeah, which baffled me.
Because I know we always had the tradition. We'd always see a movie, growing up, we would always go after Thanksgiving dinner, Thursday night. There was always some movie, whether it was Harry Potter, Hunger Games. I think we saw a couple of Night at the Museums. And I know on Thanksgiving, so like that's always been a thing around the holidays. So that's crazy that people don't.
When a lot of those come out, they release them like 2 or 3 days in advance.
Yeah.
So you might see like a Thanksgiving weekend, a movie might come out on Tuesday or Wednesday.
Yeah.
As people start to gather, with families for the holidays.
Sure.
So kind of getting the details of this movie, Nia DaCosta directed this, so different than last movie. She directed Candyman that came out a few years ago.
There's some movies where like you bring it up and I'm like, I completely forgot about that movie. What that movie was.
That was creepy.
Yeah.
That was creepy. The Marvels as well. So she directed that a few years ago. She wrote those movies as well, but she did not write this one. This was written by Alex Garland, who did direct basically the entire franchise up until this movie. So he's written all of them. I'm pretty sure he's written all of them. And he's directed all of them except this one. He's also directed Ex Machina, Civil War. We saw that one.
Civil War was very Jesse Plemons. That was the best 5 minutes, 10 minutes of a movie scene I've ever seen.
So this movie, a main cast: Ray Fiennes, who plays Dr. Ian Kelson, Jack O'Connell, who's Sir Jimmy Crystal, Alfie Williams, who plays Spike, who was in the previous movie. He was also in The Long Walk. Because I was looking up his filmography, I'm like, I feel like I recognize him. He was one of the guys in The Long Walk that didn't make it.
Spike?
Yeah, the guy who played Spike. Look, when you get time, Google him. You'll notice. Oh, that was the guy who. What happened to him.
Also, another one of those movies. If you're sad, put that on.
Yeah.
Wow.
Aaron Kellyman, who played Jimmy Inc./Kelly. So that's the main cast. Synopsis via Rotten Tomatoes. So basically, in a continuation of the epic story, Dr. Kelson, played by Ray Fiennes, makes a discovery that could change the world as they know it, and Spike's, Alfie Williams, encounter with Jimmy Crystal, who's played by Jack O'Connell, becomes a nightmare he can't escape. In the world of the Bone Temple, the infected are no longer the only threat to survival. The inhumanity of the survivors can be stranger and more terrifying. And this is available to watch on Netflix. Came out in theaters back in January, but
it's a very short film. It's only an hour and 50 minutes, which I was surprised by.
It's funny that we say that's short, because
to me that's short.
Over 2 hours now. Yeah,
I think a good sweet spot for movies 2 hours 20 minutes to 2:45.
Yeah,
I want enough to where I'm the movie's done. It's only been an hour and 45 minutes. I like a little bit lengthier movie. But what were your initial thoughts on this one compared to the? Let's get into your initial thoughts, but then kind of compare it to the prequel 28 years later.
Yeah. So initial thoughts are, it's a gruesome, tragic tale of religion and science.
Mm-hmm.
So you have the religion side, which is the Jimmy side, and then the science side, which is Dr. Kelson's side. Basically, in a time where everything is bleak. And so I mean, that's my 1 cent reaction, but I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
It was much different than the previous film. And we'll get into, when we get into spoilers and what worked and what didn't. But I think overall, it was very dark. But at the end, there's always, light at the end of the tunnel kind of thing.
Like a sense of hope in a sense.
Yeah.
A sense of hope in a sense.
In a sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you?
Yeah, it's, the first movie, no spoilers, but the first movie of, because I didn't see any of the 28 days or 28 weeks later.
Mm-hmm.
I think you sent me that infamous link of, I can't remember what the YouTube video
Screen Crush.
Screen Crush.
Yeah, they do a bunch of breakdowns for all this stuff.
Bunch of breakdowns. So I think before Elliot and I went and saw this, I watched, I think it was a 25-minute breakdown of all the 28 days, weeks movies, because I hadn't seen them and they weren't streaming anywhere, and I didn't want to pay, $7 to rent it. So seeing the first movie really felt, and I mentioned this in my Letterboxd review, it just felt like there were 3 movies in one in that movie.
Yeah,
and I wanted more. And again, I don't know what the first few movies were like. I wanted more of the infected in it.
This is very much more like the first couple movies.
Yeah,
they kind of get back to basics.
The first movie, it's you got a little bit in the first half of the movie, and then it just kind of went away for a while.
Yeah.
This one, the first half of the movie kind of felt like obviously it's a continuation of the first film.
Right.
But it had that kind of same feel. But as you kind of got into the movie, you kind of started, I think they did a little bit better job of developing the characters.
Yeah.
Kind of making you want to know more about them, why you're supposed to care about them. But the last half of this movie, the last 30, 45 minutes of this movie, I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Really, not to get into any spoilers, but it was very bloody, gruesome, classic zombie film. But I liked it. I liked it. I thought it was, the acting was, Ray Fiennes
as Dr. Kelson.
He was fantastic.
He is, he's an exceptional actor, of course, in general. But
whether he's in Harry Potter, the Bond movies, The Menu.
Right.
Is he in Grand Budapest Hotel?
Yes.
Yeah. He's just an excellent actor.
Yeah. Kind of overall, what I thought worked, and again, I mentioned this, is the religion versus the science part.
Mm-hmm.
So Jimmy Crystal, his, religion is worshiping of Satan, and how all that came to be.
Sure. And how that came to be, because if you saw the first movie, I thought for the longest time in the first movie that you'll see in the beginning part of 28 years later, there's a scene when the infected started attacking.
Yeah, and he was a kid.
And he's a kid, and this kid runs into a church, and his dad's the vicar.
Yeah.
And basically his dad sacrificed himself to get attacked so his son could run free.
Yeah.
And I thought through the entire first movie that the kid who Aaron Taylor Johnson,
you thought he was that kid.
I thought he was that kid growing up, and they didn't really do a good job of
Yeah. And that's a criticism for that movie, but
yes.
Yeah. So Jimmy essentially,
he has a battle with religion
Yeah,
because
because he's like, God, how could God, just sit by and watch this all happen to my family in the world?
and he
It,
saw his dad running after him, thinking his dad was. He didn't really understand what the infection was and who the infected were.
yeah,
And he just assumed, hey, my dad was coming after me, and he kind of just steers away from his religion and is a worshiper of Satan.
yeah,
But
essentially,
you don't really know because we'll get into a bit in the movie that might be a little.
yeah.
It's just him kind of coping, I think.
Especially at the end.
Yes.
Yeah,
Because you
for
kind of
sure.
saw his true character.
Right. So that's like the religion aspect, and then like I mentioned, the science part is Dr. Kelson. He tries to bring out the medical part of this, I guess, because
Mm-hmm.
he thinks there's a way to not necessarily cure the infected, but try to give them the ability to remember what it was like to
To
be a
get them to
human.
basically, they're infected, but they can speak, they have their thoughts.
Right. And he's trying to think like why would somebody who's infected attack a family, a baby? Like, why would they kill a
infant.
baby? Like,
What are they
what
seeing?
comes from their point of view? Yeah.
Yeah.
So he tries to help Samson, who's this, alpha infected.
And I think you saw that. I think early in the movie when one of the infected were attacking, they kind of go through the viewpoint of that infected's eyes, and you see a guy on the ground, like, screaming.
Yeah.
But the face that you could see through the infected's eyes was like almost like a demon.
Yeah. The guy who was the
Yes.
human who wasn't infected
Yes.
through the infected eyes looked crazy or like,
Looked.
yeah.
So that's
That it kind of explained why they would attack.
a baby,
Yeah.
an infant, a toddler,
Right.
women, children, whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So he's trying to get that out of him because he thinks, over time throughout the movie, he shoots him with morphine if he's coming at him to attack him to kind of get him to, like, he realizes the morphine calms him down and gets him not, in a ethereal state.
Yeah.
Where he's not doing anything, he's just existing and he's high on morphine.
Right.
And he's just, throughout the movie, he's sitting talking with Samson, trying to, he's like, I know you can hear me.
Mhm.
What do you remember anything? And then I think he realizes, he's working in his little underground lab layer. Maybe there's another component that I'm missing.
Right.
And that's when he gets into, what are they seeing? Like we just talked about, what are they actually seeing when they're attacking women and children?
Mm.
And discovers there's a psychoactive, psychedelic type of thing that's
Right.
affecting them.
Yep, exactly. So I thought that's like the crux of the movie for me and like what worked.
Yeah,
Like seeing
absolutely.
both sides of it of science and religion.
Yeah.
And then, the other part I really liked was just like the human versus human like conflict kind of has overtaken the human versus zombie or infected conflict.
Yeah.
And you see this in like all different types of zombie or apocalyptic media with like, The Walking Dead, where at the beginning it was survival against the zombies, but then, or the walkers, and then it became more of a human versus human, like how can we survive
Correct.
versus one another. And you see it in this movie, like viscerally, like
Good heavens.
blood and gore and like why, Jimmy does what his, squad does.
The squad having
know,
charity at night.
Yeah. Yeah. It's pretty dark. So those both I think worked really well for the movie.
Yeah, I agree. I think they did a better job of storytelling in
Yeah.
this film.
Yeah.
The first film, they tried to get you to care somewhat about the characters, and if you haven't seen the first one, his mom especially, it's like his mom's sick, and you're trying to really care. 20 years
Spike's-
later, yeah, Spike's mom.
Yeah.
You're really trying to care about her, but it's like they never really developed these characters enough, and I think this movie did a good job, and that's one of the things that I thought really worked, was they really felt like they got into the story of these characters to make you not only understand where they're coming from, but like why they are the way they are.
Right. Yeah. No, for sure. And that kind of brings me to my point of like what didn't work. And I think because they focused so much on the story, I think the visuals of this movie weren't as stunning as the first film.
Yeah.
Didn't pop as much. And again, it wasn't like it was bad CGI or anything.
No.
It's just like the first film showed so much of the scenery and like where they were in their current state, like location wise, like living on the island and how the water drains between the mainland and the island.
Yep.
And
When they're stuck in the attic.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think this movie is, again, focused more on the story and the character building than it is the visual aspect of it. And then one like little gripe I had was, and it's not really a gripe, but it just felt more like and again, this was the goal, was to felt like a continuation of 28 years later.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like this is like the continuation of that story. I was curious if there was a way they could cut out some stuff in 28 years later and then put a lot of this stuff in to make it like one bigger movie, like a 2.5 hour movie.
That's interesting you bring that up, because they honestly could have. I think it would have worked. But then again, it's like, all right, well, you're probably going to lose a little bit of the storytelling.
Yeah.
right? If you try to combine it. And I think what they did, worked well, but like you said,
And I think that was that was her goal. Like my negativity or my like backlash of it is like what their goal was like the first movie 28 years later was supposed to set the scene of like this is it's literally 28 years later. This is how people are living. This is this one specific family, and then these side characters, and then we'll in 28 years later, the Bone Temple will really get into the character development.
Yeah.
And again, that was like a small gripe of mine, but again, it wasn't. It's not like it's not negative. I mean, the movie itself was good enough to be on its own. I just thought maybe there was a chance they could put two into one,
Sure.
make it a little longer movie. So, do you want to get into spoilers now that we have?
Yeah, let's get into a little bit of spoilers. Give you guys enough time to, if you're gonna watch this movie. Obviously, that's our goal. We hope by releasing some of our. Before we release the podcast, we'd love for you guys to, if we're going to talk about a movie, we'd love for you guys to, all you listeners, to go and watch the movie, give us your thoughts, watch it, and then you guys can listen to us ramble on as the average shows, as Elliot likes to call us, and give us your thoughts. And then, if any friends, family, you guys watch this movie and you guys want to talk about it, find us, stop us, text us, give us a call. We don't care.
Please bug us.
But it's always good to get some perspective from other people. So yeah, saying all that, spoilers.
Yeah, so this movie, like I mentioned before, it starts with Spike kind of joining this gang. He's kind of forced to, or he basically dies.
Yeah, he's gonna die.
They all wear like blonde wigs. So it's based. I did some research on it. Jimmy, can't remember his last name. It was some like British like disc jockey.
They talked about Teletubbies a lot.
Yes, well, it's a whole '90s scene, and the guy who Jimmy Crystal, who's like the lead, Jack O'Connell, is basing this off of. End up like after like he died, like came out that he was a really bad person. So it kind of fits with like what this his character is based off of. So it's a real life person. I think it's Jimmy. I want to say it's like Savile or something like that. Like it was, Jimmy Savile. He was a British guy.
Oh God.
Yeah. Essentially, he was a disc jockey.
There's the hair.
He's very eccentric, charitable work, all that kind of stuff. But it came out like after his death. Like there was a lot of stuff that basically said he wasn't a good person.
You hate that.
Yeah. So. Basically, Jimmy, like this is his gang. It's like him and like 5 or 6 people.
How old were these kids?
He calls the fingers. Some of them looked like they were 13 or 14.
Some of them were like 20, 18.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And essentially, Jimmy like worships Satan. What does it call him? Old Nick.
Old Nick,
which is I believe is like a British term for Satan.
Yeah, it's funny because I was sitting there thinking Old Nick, and I'm like, is he talking about Santa Claus?
Right. It's like old Saint Nick. But so he basically, like I mentioned, like Spike has to join their gang by essentially killing one of them. And he
killed him accidentally.
Yeah,
self-defense. He's on the ground and he just picks the knife up and he stabs a kid in the leg and he hit an artery and this kid just bleeds out.
Right.
Then they take the kid. This movie's like, it's so gruesome. Like the minute that kid dies, they take his wig off and they just throw it at Spike and he's like, yeah, put it on.
Oh yeah, they seem like they were such a close knit group, but then there's like, oh, this is just part of life now. And then on the other side, you have Dr. Kelson, played by Ray Fiennes, of essentially studying Samson, who is, like we mentioned, like this alpha male,
who's like the most physically like dominant force in the Infected.
Yeah.
Like, you thought he died in the first film.
Yeah, you thought he died in the first film.
This kid never watched last night. She goes, wait, didn't he die? And I'm like, I don't think so.
This guy is massive, and you see a lot of him. You see all of him.
You do. You do.
And so essentially, anytime he like approaches Dr. Kelson, who's not guarding, but like around his home, his Bone Temple, he shoots him with a morphine dart, calms him down, kind of puts him in this like trance where he's not going to attack him.
Correct.
And essentially, Dr. Kelson's trying to like have a conversation with him.
Yes.
And it's like, if there's anything in there, like,
I hope
give me an indication. I hope something is getting to you.
Yeah.
So that kind of goes throughout the movie, and as that's going on, concurrently, like the Fingers, Jimmy's group, like raids a farm where there's a family, and they end up basically what they call
charity,
giving charity to them, which is essentially murdering them.
You notice where Jimmy Inc. She's kind of like,
also Kelly, that's like her name.
Yeah,
but
Kelly. She's kind of like, this is like, I see what you're saying. She's kind of like, you can tell there's something there where she's like, she's probably going to turn good.
Yeah.
Like, she's not doing this. She just knows this is her only way to survive. And then whenever the time's right, she'll strike.
Yeah. And Spike's obviously in the same way. He like can't handle this. He's
12.
like, what the hell did I get myself into on accident kind of thing. So yeah, it's a pretty big mess. And, at the same time, again, Kelson continues to experiment with Samson, briefly like restoring some speech. Like one night they're kind of hanging out.
Right?
He said moon. He was looking at the moon like at night, called Moon. So Dr. Kelson, I think, was about to like end his life for him because he had that. Remember, he had the syringe, and he's like, I might just basically just like encouraging him, like, it's okay, like everything's gonna be fine. And then once he said that, he's like, oh my gosh, like this guy actually might have some humanity left in him.
Yeah.
And then he kind of realizes, like we mentioned further on, that he, like, I don't know, it's like part of the psychosis.
He's wondering, he's sitting there and being a doctor, he has all the time on his, he has all the time in the world, and he's in his lab going through stuff, and he's thinking, there's a physical component. He goes, but what if there's like a psychoactive component? Where's the psychosis in it?
Yeah.
And he realizes, maybe there's some, if I give him a bunch of pills that helps calm that stuff down, maybe that's going to get him to remember things, get him to not be the infected. And as we come to find out, we don't know if it's a cure,
Right.
but
It's at least a
temporary fix to what's going on with him, because he gets Samson, he gives him these pills and it leads him to a train. And as he's sitting on the train, he has a memory of him as a kid and then him as an adult. Being on
him as an adult,
train.
same actor, manicured, looks like a regular
normal,
human.
normal life. And the ticket lady comes up to him and asks him if he can, do you have your ticket? And he's like, he looks at her weird, and then he goes, no. And then all of a sudden her face turns into
the infected.
And then you come back to real life, and there's a crap ton of infected, which they somehow found they could sense it.
Yeah, so they started attacking him because I think they sense that he's got human in him. He's not part human. They're obviously all previous.
And that's
humans.
when he finally speaks and says, no, I don't have my ticket. And it's like, whoa, that was kind of like, oh shit, so Dr. Kelsing was onto something.
Yeah.
And then he gets attacked, and then somehow he survives it.
Yeah. So essentially how these, that storyline with the Jimmy storyline kind of intertwine at the end is Jimmy, or I think it's Jimmy Inc., right? Who's Kelly. She's basically put on a reconnaissance mission to find their next steps or something, where they're going to go next. She sees Dr. Kelson at his
covered
bone
in the
temple,
iodine.
Covered in the iodine, conversating or whatever with Sam. And she's like, "Oh my God, this is old Nick, the devil."
He's covered in his skin's
basically
orange,
covered in orange red.
He's talking to Samson, who looks like a demon in
with
a
this
sense.
giant bone temple they've never seen.
Yeah.
So she goes back to the main Jimmy, and it's like, "Hey, we found old Nick."
So they take a journey there, and that's where you see Jimmy Crystal kind of goes down there and starts talking to Dr. Kelsing.
He's unsure if he's actually old Nick. Very quickly, Dr. Kelsing's like, "I am not old Nick.
Bro, I'm just a dude covered in iodine trying to find out the infected."
And Jimmy's like, "Well, you can either play along with this, and I'll bring my group down here, and you can show them that you're old Nick, and that you can tell them to worship me and do whatever I say, or I can kill you."
Yeah, well, how did he say it? He goes, "I'm gonna shove your intestines down your throat," or something.
It's very graphic. And he's like, basically fine, whatever, agrees to it. And so, the following night he brings the whole Fingers group down. And that was probably the best part of the movie.
Puts on a show.
Dr. Kelson puts on a show, plays music.
It's Iron Maiden.
Has lit fire all around the bone temple.
He blows some psychedelic stuff into their faces to kind of get them ooh, what's going on?
He has the black paint around his eyes.
He went all out.
He went all out to make them think that he was old Nick. And Jimmy Crystal's like, "Oh my God, this is hilarious. This is awesome." And then, one thing leads to another, and
he's basically asking for "Hey, old Nick, can we continue what we've been doing?" He's like, "Yes, that's my other blessing." And then he somehow just looks over at all their fingers, and he somehow through the mask sees Spike.
Yep.
Who he interacted with obviously in the last film.
Yep.
Had a very important part of Spike's journey. And as they're getting ready to leave, he basically tells Jimmy Crystal, "Hey, no, there's one more commandment." And do you want to get in, you can.
Yeah. So basically he's like, and Jimmy's like, "No, there isn't." And he's like, "Yeah, there is." And he's like, "Well, you have to, be crucified because they worship you. And just like Jesus was crucified, essentially you have to be crucified." And Jimmy's like, no. And then
brawl ensues.
And then, brawl ensues because Kelly, who's Jimmy Inc., was ready, like you said, she's ready to attack at any point.
Correct.
So she decides to attack. And then, the other Jimmy started attacking her, but she's able to attack back. And
then
Spike's in there as well.
Jimmy Crystal stabs Dr. Kelsing.
Yeah, wounds him to point
fatally
of death.
Wounded him, he didn't die right there. We'll get into the, here in a second.
Right.
But
and so, he's down, and then Jimmy ends up going down because Spike comes from behind and stabs him, and they end up, putting him literally on a cross and putting him upside down for, Satan, right?
That's crazy.
Yeah. Because Jimmy's been wearing the necklace the whole time of an upside down cross, which,
Jimmy had it on her, tattooed on her forehead.
Yep, she did. Yep.
Yeah. And again, kind of get into, you touched on the religion science thing and kind of what happened with Jimmy. And then as he's, Jimmy Ink and Spike get away. They
Yep.
leave. They flee. They get out. And Dr. Kelsey's kind of just on the ground, like dying. And then Samson comes.
Samson, yep.
And Samson literally just picks him up and starts speaking to him.
Yep. Like in regular English.
Like regular English, like he's a normal man.
Yeah, like he's starting to, yeah.
And he carries him away, and Jimmy Crystal's still on the cross.
Upside down.
And that's kind of like getting to that religion thing. It's like, I think he was doing that, I think, as a way to cope, as a way to survive, because I think they really did a good job of humanizing him in his last moments.
Oh yeah,
right. He's sitting there crying. The line that killed me, because I was watching this. We watched it on the couch last night, and then we were both tired, so we went into bed, and I put it on my iPad with my headphones on.
Mm-hmm.
And when he's sitting there just like crying, saying he just wanted his mom.
Oh yeah,
like that's
right.
like,
yeah,
jeez.
Yeah.
Like he realized, like, why am I even doing this? It sounded like he regretted a lot of it. Like,
oh yeah,
I was just doing this to cope. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm dying.
I mean, he obviously did evil enough things to deserve to die.
Correct.
But I mean, and you see at the end, like right before it cuts to the last scene, is like a bunch of the infected coming to kill him. But yeah, that really humanized him in his last moments of like.
That kind of was like, it makes you realize, like, in that leading up to it, like you could tell, like he was all for show.
Oh yeah,
like he was just all for show. Like he's doing this because it's the only way to survive. He has kids under him who are.
He's good at persuasion.
Yeah, very good. And I think in those moments you realize, some people might say he was a coward, but I don't think that's what that was. I mean, in a world with zombies, like, can you really be a coward? But I think what he did to get to that point, I think that might have been a little cowardly. But in that moment, I think they did a really good job of really tying that story together.
Yep.
Right. And then we can get to the end.
Yeah, so to basically wrap it up, Jimmy Ink and Spike are kind of on their own now, kind of venturing, I don't know where, but are venturing. But he cuts to like a cottage or a house, and there's a girl kind of studying, and then in comes, you can hear the voice in the background.
You know the voice.
And you know the voice, and it's the OG, is it Jim? Is his name Jim?
Yeah, I think so.
Cillian Murphy.
Let's go.
From the first two movies.
That was awesome.
Yeah. Comes in, and he's basically testing his daughter for like an exam she has to take or whatever.
Yeah.
And then she's like, I hear something outside, and they look and they notice Jimmy.
They see the infected Kelly, but then they see
Kelly and Spike, and she's like, do we help him? And he's like, of course we do.
And then they run off and cuts a scene. So obviously there's a new movie coming out.
Yeah. So supposedly it's going to be made if this one did well enough, which it kind of didn't. But I think
bringing back Cillian Murphy from the first few films, like,
but I think what I've heard
like
recently is like they're gonna make it. This was supposed to be a trilogy. So 28 years later, The Bone Temple, and then this one's the next one that they're gonna make with. I'm assuming starring Cillian Murphy is gonna be the like topping off.
And then you might get, I know there are some old like purists who like love the first few movies, like, we're not gonna see these. They're the original cast on it. Now that Cillian Murphy's back, you might get. I think that movie could do better than this one.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Which is crazy because I like this movie better than the first one.
So did I. Yeah,
like a lot more.
Yeah,
which is crazy because the first movie was pretty good.
Yeah,
but this one I feel like I'm a sucker for good storytelling.
Yeah,
and I think they really did a good job of that.
I think they did.
But do you want to get into
scores? Yeah, let's do it. So the final verdict, I gave it a 90 out of 100.
Okay.
So one of my better movies of the year.
Yeah.
What about you? What'd you give it?
I gave it an 87.
Okay, so pretty close.
I gave the 28 years later. I think that was like an 83 for me.
It's around the same. Yeah.
4 points higher. Starting out, we'll go through the categories really quickly. Story and script, I gave it a 21 out of 25. I think I liked the storytelling of it. There were parts where it's like kind of dragged a little bit. First part of the movie, you're kind of like, what are we doing? Like, where's this going?
Yeah.
Because some movies, sometimes you like being surprised, like you don't want to know where it's going.
Right.
But with a movie like this, you kind of want to have a somewhat of an idea of how this is going to end or where it's going to go to. So I gave story and script a 21. Do you want to get into yours or do you want me to just go through mine?
No. So we'll just go back and forth. So you gave it a 21.
21.
I gave it a 22 out of 25.
Okay.
Characters and acting, I gave a 23 out of 25.
I also had a 23. I think
I could maybe bump it up because
Ray Fiennes was just,
he was so good, and even like Jack O'Connell as Jimmy, like, just fantastic performance, especially when they come together.
Yeah, it's the way they talk. It's the way these actors are able to make you forget that they're just regular humans, right, on Earth, and they're portraying a character, and you're just like so sucked in to what they're saying and what they're doing that you forget that you're literally just watching a movie.
Right. Yep. So those are our primary categories. Secondary categories, direction, execution. I gave it 8 out of 10. Still very good. But
I gave it a 9. I think direction-wise, I liked it better than the first. And I think their goal with this movie and how it ended, I think they executed it almost perfectly.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe I'll bump this up to a 9 too. I mean, as we've talked about it the last 30 minutes, like I've really liked this movie
It's
more
just
and
the
more.
last 45 minutes of that movie.
Right.
It's just they did such a good job with tying it all together.
Yeah, for sure. Entertainment value, 9 out of 10.
9 out of 10 too.
Originality and creativity, I gave it a 10 out of 10.
I gave it a 9.
I mean, I know it's a sequel, so it's
Yeah.
not original, but I think the story they decided to tell for this
Yeah, it's fair.
via 28 years later, I think was as creative and as original as you can get.
Yep.
Emotional impact, I gave it a 9 out of 10.
See, I originally had it a 7, and then after thinking about it and going through, I gave it an 8.
Mhm.
I think I wasn't as emotionally invested into it, but then thinking about like the whole end scene, the Jimmy scene, I don't know why that one just kind of hit me a little bit. I don't know why.
Because it's a guy who poses as this strong person who, I mean, takes a lot of people's lives
Yeah.
and is abusive to the people that he work for him or
But in
worship
the
him.
end,
But
he's just like,
in the end, he's just a human in a really fucked up world.
and he's sad.
Yeah.
And he's just sad about how
Right.
he was a kid
Yeah.
when all this happened, so he was on his own.
He had no direction.
No,
he had no one in
he
his
was by
life
himself.
to tell him the right way.
So I think
He kind
in
of
that
resorted
sense,
to this. Yeah.
he comes back and you see in that moment him as a kid again.
Yep.
So I gave it an 8, and then biased personal enjoyment, I also gave it an 8.
Okay.
Probably could bump it up maybe to a 9 after talking about
9 to
it.
9.
But you know what? Honestly, this is gonna be the first change live.
Whoa.
Live, guys.
Whoa.
Live. I'm gonna bump that up personal enjoyment to a 9.
Okay.
I think after going through this last 30 45 minutes was really really good. So I bumped that up. I'm bumped that up to a 9, which gives me an overall score of an 88.
Yep.
88.
Okay. And like I said, mine's a 9, which gives me a 90. And again, I might be able to bump this up to a 91, 92, just based on some of these categories if I decide to change.
Yeah.
So final verdict: watch now, watch later, watch never. What do you think?
I wanted to go watch later just to fit the 28 years later. I will go watch now. I'll go watch now.
Yeah. I mean, if you're giving a movie, like you gave it an 87.
88.
88. Oh, right. You just switched it live. And I gave it a 90. I originally put it as a watch later just because it's on streaming and you can watch it whenever. But after, giving it a 90, again, I think it is a watch now because it's that good. And if you like this genre,
this genre,
then it's for you.
It's not for everybody, right? The first movie, I was like, I really don't like this.
Yeah.
But, after going through it and really watching this movie and taking the time to like just watch and pay attention and away from distractions, it's hard, right? Because you guys, we always have our phones, our iPads out, whatever you have, and you get distracted. You get a text, you get this, and you don't pause the movie, and you come back in 5-10 minutes later, what have you. You go to the bathroom, you don't pause it.
Right.
I try to do my best with new movies, especially, to like distractions, like none.
Yeah.
And if I'm gonna go to the bathroom, I'll pause it. If I'm gonna check a text or answer a phone call, I'll pause it.
For sure.
But yeah, for me, I think this would be a watch. I would say it's a watch now.
Yeah.
Not as strong as Project Hail Mary watch now.
Right.
But I would say it's a watch now.
Yep. I was at watch later, I think, going into this, but after talking about it and looking at my score, I'm like, it's a watch now. So that's 28 years later, The Bone Temple.
It was as bone crunching as we thought it was going to be.
I was right. It was
some
bone
crunching in that.
You ready to get our last segment?
Yeah. What's on your mind? What you been watching? What you been doing?
So
whatever you want to talk about.
Couple things, and I'll keep it short. I know we're running a little long. I've been playing this computer game called Retro Rewind Video Store Simulator. It's essentially like you're running your own Blockbuster.
That's fantastic.
It takes place. It's like in the 90s when Blockbusters were at their peak, where people were running movies all the time. So I've been playing this last month or so. There's periods where I would play it a couple hours and then kind of not play it for a week. But the last week I've really been playing it because I'm like getting to the end of the game where I've leveled up all the way, and I've like unlocked all the achievements. So now it's just maintaining my store and continue to build on it.
Sounds like Second Life. Was it Second Life from The Office with Dwight?
Yeah, it is, except I'm contained to a video store.
Can you put on movies in the video store?
You know what? You can.
Shut up.
So it is kind of cool. They have the TVs in the video store that have like their whatever random movies that they show. But there are some that you can program to put like whatever you want on it. So if I wanted to put like an episode of Sopranos on one of the TVs in the store, you can code into it to.
That's insane.
Yeah, I haven't actually gone through that length.
I'm gonna have to watch.
And just Google it too. It's pretty fun.
Is there like the I know you follow that. I can't remember what his name is, but you follow a guy who plays like all those scary movie horror games.
King Wolves.
Yeah. Is there anybody who plays this game like on YouTube?
Well, that's how I found it. So he and a couple other streamers I saw on Instagram, and then I watch King Wolves on like YouTube every once in a while, and
hilarious,
really funny. Like he plays horror games.
Yeah.
That's how I found him, was on Instagram. Just those reels of him playing horror games and freaking out. But it was like, I don't know, it was probably a trend among like some of those streamers in the last like couple months when this game came out. I'm like, oh, this looks fun. Maybe I'll try it on my own.
I think I saw one. There was like you can play with a group of your friends. You have to like run away from tornadoes.
Really?
It's like one of these type of things where you're like a group and you're just like running around a town trying to get away and escape from a tornado.
Yeah.
That's
fun. There's a lot of these like simulator games where one you can play with a bunch of people or play on your own. Like there's like nightclub simulator, there's like grocery store simulator, there's
incredible.
I mean, there's any simulator you can think of, there is one.
That's awesome.
So I've been doing that a little bit, and then today I watched Punisher: One Last Kill on Disney Plus.
First episode?
No, it's a.
Oh, you're right. That's what we talked about last week.
It's like a special Marvel presentation, like Werewolf by Night or.
So how was it compared to like Werewolf by Night? I know they're different, but in terms of like...
So this was a little shorter than I wanted. It was only like 45 minutes, I think, without the credits. It was fine. Wasn't as good as I wanted it to be, but Frank Castle as a Punisher just goes haywire in this movie.
Love it.
Or the movie, this presentation.
Yeah.
But it felt like they tried to put a lot into 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Which either could have been fleshed out in maybe another
15.
Season of Punisher, or maybe even a movie. I think a movie probably would have fit better. But again, it's kind of like it's like a standalone thing.
Sure.
So I don't know when it takes place. I think it might take place after Daredevil season 2 or during Daredevil season 2. Daredevil Born Again season 2.
That's why he wasn't in season 2.
Well, yes, and I forgot that he was filming Spider-Man Brand New Day.
Oh yeah, duh.
Because he's in Spider-Man Brand New Day. So apparently he was filming that while Daredevil Born Again season 2 was filmed, so he couldn't make it. But they filmed this apparently 45-minute special in 15 days. Just over 2 weeks.
That's remarkable.
Yeah. So it's like an episode of TV, essentially.
That's crazy.
But again, I recommend you watch it just because
I'll throw it on.
John Bernthal is pretty good actor, and
just
crazy. He's just so crazy.
Every time I see this man on anything, movie, TV show, he was in an episode of How I Met Your Mother. His name was Carlos.
My gosh.
That was him. I only think of him in The Walking Dead as Shane.
Yeah.
Like that's like every time I see him on the screen, it's like, oh, that's Shane.
Yeah.
Oh, look, it's Shane.
Yeah. That's how much, Walking Dead, how big of a presence that used to be.
Yeah. God, that show was a banger back in the day. It was so
was.
good. I gotta go back and it's on Netflix. I didn't go back and watch it.
I know. I have it on my list of like rewatch, or like I stopped watching after a few seasons, and or after when we all stopped watching.
Sure.
I should probably watch the rest of it. But yeah, those are the two things I've been getting into last week. What about you?
Not a lot, actually. It's been busy since we last recorded. It's been watching It's Always Sunny. You got me on to It's Always Sunny, so I kind of steered away from New Girl for a bit and threw on It's Always Sunny. I've been having to work some stuff at home on some work, so I'll just throw it on the iPad, and it's just every episode, man. This episode's great. So I think I just watched the one where the gang does a clip show, and they're all in each other's minds, and like things happen. He's like, whose mind are we now? You're gonna alter reality. Whose mind are we in right now? And then you see Frank has hair and he doesn't have hair, and he has long legs, and it's. So I've been watching that a bunch of episodes of It's Always Sunny. Obviously, we watched 20 Years Later. American Idol season finale was on Monday. It was 3 hours. So
that's a long time.
They went with the top 3, and then for the first hour, they each seen twice. And then at the end of that hour, so right around 9 o'clock, they vote off one person to get it to the top 2. And then the last 2 hours, it's basically like they have all these celebrity guests, all these artists.
Right.
It's like Nelly was on there, Motley Crue, Carrie Underwood, Motley Crue saying. So like they had all these, which I think is really cool. It's really nice because you kind of just sit back and just, if you want to watch it, you can. If you want to go do other things, like each contestant in the top 14 got to come back and sing with a group or an artist. Like the girl who got 3, she got to sing with Jason Mraz. Tori Kelly was on. So it was a good group. And then obviously the winner, I knew she was going to win.
Yeah.
She's saying a audition song. She's a mom. She's like mid-20s, has 3 kids. Saying a song about she's a songwriter, wrote a song about string cheese, about her kids eating string cheese, and about how being a mom is like my favorite thing ever in my life. It's my purpose. And it got like I can't remember the number, over 100 million views on TikTok.
Wow.
And then if you go back, and this is kind of an indicator for those who watch American Idol, go look at their Instagram posts when they show like they actually post the performances. Whichever contestant gets the most likes usually wins.
Yeah.
And over the last, I went back and looked, she was doubling or tripling each contestant's views. Now, do I think she deserved to win? I think she was good. She wasn't my favorite of the season. The guy, I had a few favorites, but the guy I wanted to win, he ended up getting second. His performances though, incredible stuff.
Yeah.
He'll make something. He'll be something. He's fantastic. So we watched that, and then the only other thing that's on my mind got released today. Ohio State.
Oh yeah.
Dropped finally. Ellie and I have been on this train for a very long time, since 2005. Ohio State finally brought back the gray stripes
on their jerseys. Yeah, their primary jerseys. Yeah.
I mean, you just see
if you can't tell, we're big Ohio State, athletics and
I mean that
fans.
Now I think that's the best uniform in all, and
it's
maybe all sports, but in all football. That
Pretty dang
road white
close.
with the gray sleeves. And look, it's uniforms, right? Who cares?
Yeah,
Why we went away from gray sleeves when we're literally scarlet and gray,
Yeah.
and you're wearing black stripes? Makes
That's
no sense. You're Ohio State. You're the biggest brand in college football. You should be like, yeah, sorry,
In
we're
college
gray.
athletics, yeah, you should.
We're keeping the gray sleeves, but
Yeah.
they dropped that today, and I think that made my year. So I was right when I was at the Buckeye Corner, and all the jerseys from the previous year were all on sale. And there were no other jerseys to buy. I said, this is fishy.
Yeah.
Something's up.
Yeah.
Well, they finally listened.
Yep.
And the gray sleeves
They are back.
Yep.
So that's very exciting.
So excited.
Yeah,
that's it. That made my night. That made my day. That made my year.
I know. We've been clamoring for it for years, and they're back. So as long as they obviously win this football season, then they'll look great doing it.
They'll look great doing it.
And if they lose, they'll look good losing too, I guess.
That's true. Depends.
So
that's it.
That's it.
That's all I got.
That's it for this week's episode. If you enjoyed the episode, please follow the show and leave a review wherever you get your podcasts. It generally helps more than you think. More reviews mean more exposure to our lovely voices.
Yes, sir.
Share the podcast with your friends, your family, your enemies, or anyone you know. If you want to reach out to us, you can send us an email at brothersandblockbusters@gmail.com or visit our Instagram page at blockbusterbrothers. Next week, we are reviewing In the Gray.
Yeah,
potentially reviewing In the Gray, which is the new Guy Ritchie film.
Yeah, we touched on it last week in our What's Happening in Hollywood stuff. So
really excited about it. It doesn't look like it's too long of a movie either. Maybe an hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes.
Oh, wow. Another short one.
Yeah, but coming out in theaters this weekend. So we'll, make sure to update the socials if we are reviewing or if not reviewing.
And then we're going to obviously put a post up. We'll try to get a graphic up of our scores for these movies so you guys can have them kind of handy.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, we have our Letterboxd stuff on the account.
Mine doesn't have like the official breakdown.
Doesn't have the original. Okay.
It just has the total score.
Okay.
So,
but yeah, we're working to find a graphic or create a graphic to post those scores as well. But thank you everybody for watching.
We'll see you guys later.